Hey everybody, this is Cutlass Candi, and I am so excited today. It's a wonderful start of Bike Week down here at Myrtle Beach. Of course, I'm in Pawleys Island, Litchfield Beach, South Carolina, and I have such an exciting spirit about me today because I have a special guest. And this morning, my guest is Lamar Wilson. And Lamarr is actually the leading actor for the Pirates Voyage up in Myrtle Beach. And we are just so welcome and so happy to have you aboard today, Lamarr. Welcome, Edward Teach, known as Blackbeard.
Well, ahoy there, mateys. I hope everyone is having a great holiday. Arr.
Welcome aboard, sir. So, Lamarr, you are such a flamboyant character, and this is my first time actually meeting you and being able to have an interview with you. So, this is very off the cuff. We're going to have a good interview today just because there's a lot of interest, in who I am as a pirate in the area and my history. But I came here last year, and the first thing that I had to do was go to Myrtle Beach and visit the Pirate Voyage. I'd heard about the production up there, and once I came up there, at the time I didn't know you, but what I ended up finding out later when you and I connected through Facebook is that the gentleman that I actually saw in the Blackbeard role was your understudy, as you had told me. So I want to find out about your career, Lamarr. Let's talk about that. I'm going to let you take the mic, really. Talk to me about your career and then how you found your way into the role of Blackbeard with Dolly Partons production down here.
Well, this job kind of fell in my lap, but I have been performing since the first time I was on stage, I was 5. I've been doing this professionally since I was in my 20s, since I was in college. I have a degree in theater. I went to a little school in Fort Worth called Texas Wesleyan University and won a scholarship there and learned quite a bit about theater, the ins and the outs. Don't let anybody ever tell you that a theater degree is wasted, because it's not. I've been acting professionally now for 25 plus years, and I love what I do. My first big job, big boy paid job, was the Batman stunt show, which I did for a number of years at various Six Flags parks across the country, where I got to play Batman. But
wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. I was a 20-something-year-old kid and got to play with gasoline-powered toys, and I got to dress up in a real costume. It was hot, but it was fun. But I did that for a number of years and loved it. And I've done theater all across the world. I've done film, television, commercials, and I'm not a movie star by any means, but I've been performing as a working actor most of my life and been able to pay the rent with it. So there is that. I haven't had to wait tables since I was in college. So
That's good. I like hearing that you're not a starving actor.
I'm not a starving actor. I'm a working actor. Well,
That's
right
fabulous.
now I'm not, because of the COVID-19 pandemic that's going on. So right now I'm an actor waiting in the wings for the governor to lift restrictions so we can go back to work. We're about the only thing left that is still under restriction and can't go back. Hopefully now, since Disney has opened and since some of the other venues nationwide have opened, maybe we'll get lucky, and here in the next couple of weeks we can get back to work. Our sister venue up in Tennessee has been performing since June 10th. They are cranking it out. They're doing a great job with the COVID-19 and the CDC regulations, if you will, with masks and social distancing. They've gone above and beyond what the CDC recommends. So we're real proud of them, and we are bringing people in left and right up there. So we're hoping and praying that our governor here will take note of that and see what we're doing over there and allow us to open up so we can bring some family entertainment to the people that are coming to the beach.
Well, let's talk about that particular venue here in Myrtle Beach. How was it that you were to uh, find out about this role, and how did you land the position, and how long have you been there?
This is my fourth season here. I was actually in Texas, and there's a little, there's an actors online it's a get a how actors get work, if you will. Some actors get work. It's called Backstage, and it's a subscription, and it's a help wanted for actors, basically. And there was a posting for the Pirates Voyage show here, as well as another show up in Tennessee. And the director of entertainment called me up one morning, and it's really funny. He had actually hired me in 1995 back at Walt Disney World at Epcot Center when I was working down there. And he had remembered me and asked me if I would be interested in going to the beach and playing a pirate. And I said yes. And he wanted to know how fast I could move. And I was in a position in life to where I could just pack up and take off. So I came out here March 18th of 2017 and started my first season. And in January of this year, I started my fourth season with them. And I love it. It's a great cast. It's a great show. I've made a lot of friends down here, and I like to think that Myrtle Beach is my new home. I just really want to go back to work. All of us do.
Yeah. So let's talk about the show, because I have seen the show. And I have to tell you, in my personal opinion, it is outside of a movie production or a made-for-TV series like Black Sails. I personally have never seen anything quite put together to show piracy as this pretty production. I mean, it's elegant. The costuming is wonderful. Everything that falls from the sky, and the actors and the acrobats and everything they do with the water and the fire and the live, the seals. I mean, it's really, it's dreamy. I felt like I was living in a dream at the very end when all the gold doubloons came down, and when the mermaids come up and they're on their big rings and they're doing their thing. I mean, it's an elegant show. You guys look like that the camaraderie there, even though there's a battle going on between the two groups, you all just, it's quite captivating. And of course, the enjoyable part of the children coming in and everybody being able to have their corn and their chicken and everything as you eat is so much fun. And they do such a nice job of getting that going, and then you all come on and have the participants too that come out of the audience. Talk to me about the role and the interaction that you have with the people and then your audience. I think that's really interesting.
Well, it's really an interesting cast of characters that we have, and I've never worked with, and we have such a good ensemble with everybody that we work with, but I'm working with people that are gymnasts, that are animal trainers, that have done professional sports before, and we've all kind of come together, actors, musicians, animal trainers, acrobats, and really made this a unique ensemble. I've been in this business for a long time, and I've never worked for a production that has so many moving parts like this has. And it's such a wonderful feeling when we all come together, everybody from their own experiences and walks of life and their talents, and we can put this thing on. Personally, it's a lot of the guys give me a hard time. It's like, you just walk around and talk. But there's a lot of things that we have to keep in mind, because we're working with animals, and we've had crazy people in the audience jump into the water.
Oh my gosh!
That we've had to have security come and get them out. I mean, there's a lot of things you got to look out for when you're emceeing a show like this. And I have the booth is in my ear talking to me if something's going wrong. So the two actors, the Calico Jack and the Blackbeard actors, are the main MCs. And if something's going wrong, they're talking to us on our monitors so that we can try to figure out what to do, kill time, etc. But it's a really unique type of role because you have to be a ringmaster, so to speak, like you would at a circus, and really take command and watch everything that's going on and know how to be a part of it without upstaging or drawing attention to yourself and making everything one big ensemble, one big product.
Talk to me about your personal, you have your own personal demeanor, but then when you grew into this role of Blackbeard, because I know that, underneath all of my pirate garb, and I wear a lot of beautiful pirate garb, my heart isn't as that of a treasure hunter because that's who I am. I've looked at your website and I know you're a very deep individual from your writings, but you also do not look like Edward Teach, Blackbeard, with all that's your real beard too.
This is my real beard.
Yes.
I call it my job requirement. People will tell me all the time, that's a great beard.
It is. They could not have picked a better person to play the part because your beard is amazing. One of the things is that Blackbeard braided his beard and would twirl it up. It looked like smoke was coming out of it. And so I encourage you to put those beautiful braids.
I've tried the braiding. I've tried doing the braiding, and it's just, there's so much of it. And I'll be honest with you, it's really hard when you braid it to try to keep it clean. And I take such good care of this because I have to walk out in public and be a normal person that I want to look halfway decent. And,
well, you're very attractive, and that beard, everybody that wants a beard that's a baseball player or anybody, football, these sports guys, and the Duck Dynasty guys, and nobody that I know in the piracy world down in St. Augustine or anywhere has got as good a beard as you do, so you're doing a
it's
great
because
job.
it's hot. It's very
hot.
Let me tell you.
Yes, love. It is hot. So, did you learn? I know that, as I've grown into being a pirate since, I was a little girl, I studied a lot about the different pirates and, the female pirates and the male pirates. Did you do a lot of study about Edward Teach and his life and so forth?
I did. I've been accused of being a method actor, thus, long hair and the beard. But I did a lot of research on him, and I still learn things every now and then that he did that I didn't know about. And one of the things that really sticks out in me is that the British media painted him in such an unpleasant light to be this terror of the seas, and it was really the press, the British press, that gave him such a notorious name. There has not been any record that they have found that he had actually done all of the killing that he was accused of doing. But I found that interesting. Also found his past interesting, to where he was not always a pirate, but he got tired. I like to call him one of the original American revolutionaries because he was not happy with England and the way that the Brits were doing things, and he decided to become a pirate and right some of the wrongs that he felt. Also, the Queen Anne's Revenge, which you hear a lot of stories about. He only had that boat for 6 months.
That's right.
Before he ran it aground up in North Carolina. But I also find interesting that it was a French slave ship. When he commandeered it, he freed all the slaves and actually asked the slaves on board if they wanted to come work for him, and many of them did. Yeah. So he's what I've been able to find about Blackbeard and about piracy is some really interesting stuff. There's a neat museum down in Charleston that talks about piracy. And I was down there a couple years ago. It was the 300th anniversary of Blackbeard's blocking of Charlestown's harbor.
That sounds interesting. And I grew up there with a home in Duck, North Carolina, right beside Bath, and which, he spent a lot of time in Bath. And I think that all of that has, clearly carried me from the time I was like 7 and 8 and 9 years old all the way through my adult life now, of such a curiosity about him. I was watching Josh Gates the other night, and you know they're learning something every day, like you said, something new about him in the discovery of they're out there like what we are continuing to do with the 1715 fleet. Of course, he was down there plundering the 1715 fleet that sank at the end of July. And I'm so happy that you're on board with me right now, because the whole month of July I dedicated to my love of the 1715 fleet, since the hurricane sank them on July 31st of 1715. That whole Spanish trade, fleet sank, and Blackbeard and all of those that lived on Nassau, they were up plundering, the whole coastline, the treasure coastline of Florida. So, but we'll shift back over to your production over there. How many people are actually in that production?
Well, we employ between 350 and 450 people, which is, and I'm going to digress a little bit here, because we got a lot of people there that really want to go back to work. Now, as far as the cast, there's about 25 of us that are in the cast. But it takes 350 to 450 people to make that entire venue run. Everything from the kitchen staff, the people that make the dinners, to the wait staff that is bringing dinners out, and the bar staff that is making the drinks for everybody, the face painters, the gift shop. There's so many different moving parts that, a lot of people right now are really chomping at the bit, wanting to get back to work, because it's not just entertainers that are out of work up here. It's the whole kit and caboodle. And it's like that for a lot of theaters around here.
Well, and going back to what you started talking about with the COVID, yesterday I was down at Bike Week down at the Beaver Bar, and I know you're not far from there. They were out there, a couple TV stations, doing an interview with me, asking me my thoughts on things. And, coming from North Carolina, because I have a home in Charlotte, and then of course, this place here, and having another place built, I've watched what's gone on between the two states and traveled back and forth. And then I've had to go to Virginia as well, because my dad's in assisted living up there. And so is my mother lives apart from him in another city. But, watching these different states and how they operate. So you, being that you went to Gatlinburg, or Pigeon Forge rather, right? And performed in the role up there. Talk to me about what you guys were doing there and what you feel like you all could be doing here, because I personally think that, if we're opening up our gyms down here and they're still not open in Charlotte, and we're opening our restaurants, and, we're getting some numbers increased and all, what do you think that you guys could be doing down here? Because, I think you should be open.
Thank you. A number of us do. But what we're doing in Tennessee, the CDC has come down and given guidelines, and South Carolina has one too. There's something that is on a website for theaters and what to do to prepare for opening amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. What we do up there is every guest that comes into the theater, everybody's temperature is taken. Everybody that works for the venue up there, including the performers, everybody's required to wear a mask when they are inside the building. Now, once we get into the show, the only people that are not wearing masks are Blackbeard and Calico Jack, only because we have live mics on, so we can't talk with the masks on with the mics. But even the acrobats have masks on during the show.
Wow.
The
so
entire
they're diving into that water with masks on?
Well, right before they hit the water, they'll pull the mask off.
Okay.
But they put it back on once they come up out of the water.
Wow, that's a lot of trouble to go through.
It is, but we are trying to do our part as far as, that's why I say we're exceeding, and we're going above and beyond some of the CDC recommendations with a show, like this. It's a very different type of show. So there are, we're trying to do the best that we can within the guidelines that have been, that we have been given. And we've gotten some good press up there for, the cautions that we're taking with the COVID-19 pandemic that's going on to keep our guests safe, to keep our employees safe, to keep our performers safe. They're really doing a great job up there. And social distancing, we keep, that's probably one thing I didn't mention, the social distancing part of it. We're keeping families social distanced out in the audience. So right now we are, I believe it's about 50% capacity, so that we do have enough between families. That's what the guidelines call for. But they're doing a great job up there. Disney opened up on Saturday, and I saw in their videos a lot of the same things that we were already doing, that they were calling out at Disney. So we're doing a good job. And we're set up for it here. We just haven't been given the green light from the government to go back and do our thing.
How many do you all hold in there? Because that's a big production.
It's just under 1,000 here. I think it's I want to say it's 980 something, but it's just under 1,000.
That's a nice facility. It's a beautiful facility. The outside of it's gorgeous. I mean, what kid wouldn't drive by there and go, pirates?
The kids make it so much fun. We really have a great time with the kids there. Funny story. I was a month into it, and my camera is falling. So let me do this real quick because I'm falling. I've got a bad mount here, and it doesn't want to stay. There we go. Anyways, the kids. I was there for a month, and one of the girls came back and knocked on the dressing room door and said, "There's a little boy out there that wants to see Blackbeard." And I said, "Okay." So I come outside, and I go, "Who is this young lad that says he wants to see Blackbeard the pirate?" And there's a 7-year-old kid. He is shaking like a leaf, and he's got little plastic coins in his hand. And he goes, "Mr. Blackbeard, sir, I want to pay you some doubloons so that I can have safe passage in your waters." And then he went about giving me a description of his vessel and the gun ports and the size of the cannons that were coming out. And I thought to myself, my God, this kid has a vivid imagination. And it made me think of me when I was that age. And it was just so neat to see how believable or how much these kids believe, because it really is. It's so real to them. And I gave Ms. doubloons back, and I said, "You hang on to this, laddie, and you fly your flag high, and I'll make sure that I recognize it, and you'll have safe passage in my waters, I guarantee it."
Oh my! That child will never forget that.
I know, and that's exactly right. That's the kind of thing you will never forget that. I mean, I remember stuff that I did when I was that age. It was more Star Wars.
Yes.
But yeah, it's so real to them, and that is what I like to tell people. And they're like, "Oh, you're just an actor. What do you do?" I said, "Man, I create memories for people that you can't put a price tag on. You know, the things that these kids remember and the experiences that they have, and that's what really charges me up. That's why I love doing what I do."
Well, and that's why I do what I do. Every day I have these children out my door back out here. They're waiting on me. They wait. They leave little things out there like seashells, lining my brick wall, and I've got a little parrot stuck in the ground out there. They can't wait to come back too. Like from last year to this year, they want to come see the pirate lady. And,
right.
and when you teach them something about the local area, like the turtles or the poly shells or whatever it is, and then we talk treasure. We got to talk gold and silver, and we tell them the history of Edward Teach, Blackbeard, and Charles Vane, and Long John Silver and Calico Jack. I mean, this is our history that we are carrying on, even through our own adult lives. That is so important, because our God, these children right now are having to miss out on so much with their friends and even the adults. I'll tell you, as well as I do, Lamarr, that the adults walk into that production that you all have down there, and it takes their minds off the world. And they walk.
First time I saw the show, I cried. I
did.
Asking me to be a part of it. I walked in. And then I got into the main show and got into the arena, and they had me in the front row, and I was trying not to like just blubber all over myself. I was so happy that I asked to come play in this proverbial sandbox. It's a lot of fun. I have a great time.
Well, I tell you what, I look forward to the day that you can give me a call and say, Candi, we are back in business, because when you do, I will bring myself and some folks down that are from, our little area down here as a group. But I got to tell you something. I have got to get in that little boat.
Yeah.
I want to be in the boat, Lamarr.
Yeah, we only save those for the wee lads.
The wee lads, the wee little ones. I've got to be able to get on that stage, because I'll tell you something. I want to come up there and just be able to look you in the eye and go, wow, what a place right in the middle of that water. Oh, how exciting. You have such a great life over there. What a job. What a job. Well, talk to me before I don't want to go out of here. I know that this has been such a rewarding experience for you, and we're so blessed to have you in our area. I pray that the production gets rolling, because I know that you love it down here. I know you've made a lot of friends. You have a life outside of Blackbeard, and what better place to live in the low country. Oh my God, it's so wonderful here. You're right. I've read a lot of your writings. You're very deep. Talk to me about your blog spot and how, that's attractive to you.
Well, I went through a real rough spot about 5 years ago. I was literally homeless, living in a shed, didn't have any job, didn't have any money, and things were hard. I mean, quite literally, a good weekend meal for me was a $2 meal at the 7-Eleven for $2 hot dog and Big Gulp. And that was splurging for me. Other than that, it was ramen noodles. I lost 55 pounds because I was starving to death. And
so you were a starving actor then?
I wasn't acting at that point. I was just starving. But yeah, at that point, it was just, I made some bad choices in relationships, and some bad things happened, and I found myself in a really bad spot. And somehow, by the grace of God, this job literally fell in my lap. And yeah, in all my life, nothing has ever been that easy. And I came out here, and it's opened up just a whole new chapter. I'm doing what I love to do more than anything in the world. I've met some of the best people in the world down here. I'm going to give a little plug out to one of my favorite people in the world, Jasmine Kane.
Oh, she is so talented. Goodness gracious.
She is a personal friend of mine. I met her through Pirates. She actually had pinged me on Twitter, and we got talking, and we got to be friends. And I've got to say, other than the Pirates that I know here, every single person that I've come that has become near and dear to me, and the circle of friends that I've got is directly because of her, because we either met down at the bike rally at one of her shows, or they're friends of hers that I've been introduced to. And man, I tell you what, they are just some of the most wonderful people. I call them my tribe, and yes, I love them all very, very dearly. Some of us got together last week to go see her play up in Greenville, but I really found a home here. And I look back at 5 years ago, and kind of the mess that I was in and where I am now. And even with the COVID stuff going on, I've been in worse shape, not being able to work. And so I try to take stock in that. But I really have been very fortunate and very blessed with the people that have come into my life up here.
So you're blogging, you blog and have become, one that has shared these experiences in your blog site. And it really, I tell you, I've cried a lot of tears reading your stuff.
I've cried a lot.
It reminds me a lot of myself. It reminds me a lot of myself. And I think that, for those of us who travel down the road, the broken road, and have sailed alone, being able to relate through the readings that we do and share with people, we really get a lot of encouragement through that. So I really thank you for being out there and, you know, sharing your life, the hard parts, because I know I do that. And I'm not embarrassed about it at all. It's very helpful in the end to people.
Well, the theater has always been kind of my outlet. Whenever bad things have happened to me in my life, and whenever there's been traumas, I've always had a stage. And at that point in my life, I did not have anything to work my angst out on, and so I would write, and it was cathartic for me to be able to write and try to get stuff out of me. And I've kept it. I haven't really written much as of late because I've been very happy, and that was just kind of I had written that just to kind of document what I was going through, and so that I can reread it. And everybody keeps telling me to write a book based on that, which I guess that will be something in the cards here that I want to do, to talk about things that have happened, because it is a pretty neat story. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate your compliments on that. That was just kind of a documenting of trial by fire and pain, and trying to grow.
Well, speaking of Bike Week, we are in it, and that's how you and I know, I think I reached out to you originally months ago, and then for some reason you were following some little mess that I was doing, and I said something about Bike Week, and you said, "Oh, you be in my territory, lass. Come for a grog." And I'm like, "Of course I'll be there for a grog with you." So I know you love biking and the rally, and you know, I've been coming here since the very early 80s and such, and last year actually was the first year that I ever saw Jasmine Kane perform down at Suck Bang Blow. My
Yep.
God, she's not only friggin' gorgeous, but she dresses beautifully, and what a talented musician. Not
I
only
have
vocally.
I have more respect for her. She is the hardest working person I have ever met in show business, and I have so much respect for her. And
Oh,
she's very inspiring. She puts out little inspiring things every day, and she really has kind of she has a very special place in my heart that has really helped me she's been an inspiration to me. So
is she playing down at Spokes and Bones or at Suck Bang Blow this year for the rally? I know our rally's very small, and we won't get into any political anything, you know, but
no,
she's not
no, she's not this year, and it's unfortunate. I think everybody has been hit so hard. They can only get so many people in, and still try to make a profit. And it's hard with acts like hers,
playing.
to get it in, to get her in, and be able to
Well,
pay
I
her.
say that when she is going to be in a venue that's not so far, I want to go and support her and get to see her again. I know I'm so excited about my favorite band outside of a female lead vocal. Throwdown Jones will be here this weekend
Yeah,
at Beaver. I hope
yeah,
you'll
we're
come
planning
down.
on coming down and seeing them.
Okay, well, they'll be here Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'll take you up on that grog down there, and we'll rock on. And when Jasmine comes around somewhere close by, I would love to go and meet her, because I tell you, maybe we could do an interview with her and her band, you know, her and her band, whatever, it doesn't matter. But anyway, back to you. Is there any encouragement out there that you can, as Edward Teach, Blackbeard, Lamar Wilson, I'll sum it up in one and we'll kind of end this thing, that you might be able to share with children, adults out there, as they move along through their life, just some words of encouragement during this time of COVID in particular, for all of us.
I'll say the same thing that I've been telling myself, and I tell other people. No matter what happens, whether it's storming, snowing, hurricanes, tornadoes, overcast, or just sunny skies, the sun comes up every day without fail. So if you've had a bad day, know that tomorrow the sun's going to come up again, and you're going to have another opportunity. And never give up. Never give up on your dream. And most importantly, and what I have found, because I found it and I've gotten it back, don't let anybody ever steal your joy. And that's what I tell people all the time, because that's kind of my mantra, and that's how I have lived over the last 5 years.
Wow. Well, I tell you, that lifts my spirits and my heart. Definitely don't let people steal your joy. I tell you, being a pirate, you're out here by yourself a lot, and I am, and people want to be they're very unaware. They're curious and they're leery, and they can be critical at times, and they're not really sure. So don't let people steal your joy. That's for sure. And live your dream. Get out there and do what you enjoy, because if you don't want to go to your grave, or get old thinking that you didn't do what you wanted to do. And our time slips by so fast, doesn't it?
Well, don't let anybody tell you can't do anything. Even though we're being told day after day right now, we can't do anything, but there's a lot of people fighting hard so that we can do what we love to do. So, and things will get back to normal at some point.
Hey, back to one more thing. On those ticket prices up there to see the show, what's the cost of an adult and a child ticket up there?
I believe, I have to look at the website, but I believe the tickets are right around $55 a piece. But that also includes your dinner. So you're getting dinner and a show that lasts almost an hour and a half. It's about an hour and 20 minutes. And that's a great price.
It is.
And I tell people, and my cohorts tell people, when people come up here, this has been such a loved venue up here, and we've been rated #1 many years for family entertainment. And I always tell myself every time I walk down the catwalk before a show that we've got 1,000 people in here, and they have paid good money. So even though we're doing this 4 times a day, these people haven't seen it, and they've saved their hard-earned money to come and be a part of what we have to offer. And so we owe it to them to do the very best that we can as many times as we do it. So it's worth the money. The food is great. The kitchen guys, when times are leaner, they've slipped me some chicken that I can bring home. And, they do a really good job. It's such a great crew, such a talented cast. Everybody that works the facility is fantastic. I don't have enough good things to say about everybody up there. They are truly my pirate family up there.
I have to ask you too, have you been able to ever meet Dolly Parton?
No, I have not. I haven't met her yet.
No.
The crew up in Tennessee met her last year because she was out for the grand opening of that facility up there, but I have not met her yet.
Oh,
so we have talked. We've gone back and forth on social media a couple of times, but that's about the extent of it.
She's a gem, and we're so lucky to still have her and her beauty gracing the internet for us. And anyway, it's great just to have wonderful talent, and she's sure they know how to pick them. So you are a wonderful Edward Teach, Blackbeard. And Lamarr, thanks so much for joining us today, coming aboard the Black Pearl here at the Pirate Pad down here with Cutlass Candi and my treasure chest. And I look forward to seeing you either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. And
I'll be there.
So what is it? You're in Myrtle Beach, actually, right? You're not in Garden City or Surfside or Myrtle.
Right, I'm in Myrtle Beach. I'm up in the Grand Strand.
So, from the Oceanfront Litchfield Inn, I bid you a good day, Captain. And yes, and I look forward to seeing you soon. So we're going to say goodbye. Bye, everybody.
Ahoy, mateys.
And we'll see you again on Cutlass Candi's Treasure Chest. Thanks again, Edward.
Thanks, Candy.
Bye-bye.